Welcome back. Dignitas and Expert going at it here on the HGC. We're getting ready for game number 3. Dignitas looking a little bit more solid in game number 2.
Yeah, that was definitely way more in the comfort zone, and they didn't get surprised by any hook shenanigans or anything like it. So solid performance on a very strong map for them. And that leads us into the third game, of course.
Third game. We're going to find out we'll be going pretty darn soon. And you got to start worrying with Expert. What battleground do they like to go to? They love to change things up. Let's find out. Well, there it is. We are going to BRAXIS Holdout.
We are going to BRAXIS, baby. I like it. Okay, so this is going to be fun. This is also the map where Dignitas completely bodied their last opponent with a double global. So I think one thing's for certain. Expert is not going to allow that.
Yeah, the false head Dahaka, the one that we were talking about when we were actually alluding to the Dahaka and Abathur and how it was being played. The false head Dahaka was insane. So we've already had 2 games in a row where false has been banned out, and this is one where I think it's completely warranted if you're playing for Expert.
Yeah, I feel it's also pretty transparent by now that especially the top 3 teams excel at playing strong macro games. It's not only about the team fighting, but having that strategy behind it and the ability to really make those rotations on the map with globals is incredibly important. So that's where the top 3 excel, and it's one of the reasons why they're so successful.
Yeah, it's one that Dignitas just pulls out so well. And then also, this is where Mage Heaven comes into play for main A. You got your Kel'Thas is so strong. You have your Gul'dan that's wonderful, the 4-man rotations. It's actually kind of interesting how we watch these teams continue to grow. It's starting to become 2-on-3 lanes in some regards, and you're starting to get the Zarya mixes in. It's just so much. This map is starting to grow a little bit in terms of strategy.
Yeah, it definitely does. There's a lot of things that you can pull off here, but the 4-man usually is the priority depending on how the globals are being distributed between the 2 teams.
Yeah, so we'll be getting into it relatively soon to find out what our teams are wanting to do. The draft is about to pop, and I am assuming we're going to have that falsehood ban. Will Dignitas continue to ban out Tassadar?
I mean, the falsehood ban that we've seen on the last 2 maps, let's see if we have the same thing happening from Expert again, because that has been the MO. There's the Tassadar, already been banned out, and Experts, how they're doing, how do they react here?
Falsehood.
They hate that guy.
They are not a fan.
They hate the dwarf.
He's officially dead in Heroes of the Storm competitive scene. That is for sure. Okay, so first pick up for Dignitas. Dahaka would normally be the adjustment we would assume here, and I wouldn't mind seeing it, actually.
Yep, so Falsa didn't only die in World of Warcraft, he also died in Heroes of the Storm.
Ripperoni.
No revive for him.
Chris Messon's not even around anymore to do it. Chris Messon's not even around anymore to do it, so Blizzard can't take that back. It's official.
We need a red shirt guy in the studio that just yells Loyan.
I'm okay with that. I'm down. Okay, so other options besides Dahaka. So Dahaka could be the pickup. Lucio is also one of the heroes that is in the rotation. And prior past rotations, Malfurion will be the automatic pickup for Dignitas. So I think it's either going to be one of the 2 supports or it'll be Dahaka.
Just mentioning it, this is the map where we saw Probius the last time from Team Expert. But Dignitas is keeping it classy here. They're dropping the beats. They're going once again for Lucio, one of the strongest supports. And also very nice play toy for Bakery.
Well, that's a good point to bring up the idea of Probius. That means that in the back of the minds, Dignitas needs to make sure that they don't get outdrafted in terms of wave clear. Fnatic actually talked about it when we interviewed them about the matchup, is that they didn't realize how much wave clear was actually available. Probius's wave clear is absolutely outstanding. Him getting the increase on his range for his W allows for him just to deal with waves easily.
And this is the map they won.
Yeah.
So they actually won with Probius. It's not like they just picked him as an already pick and lost the game. They won the map against Fnatic. And Expert is taking their sweet time here with the decision what they want to go for.
Zarya probably floating around as an option. She's incredibly powerful on that bottom lane, just great for the rotations. Usually you're thinking about Gul'dan or even an auto attacker. Vala is usually up here in terms of the 1st to 2nd pick.
Okay, Greymane and Sonya early on. Again, the aggression here. Starting off with that, keeping it a little bit more normal here. And still the opportunity for Dignitas if they want to grab that Dahaka and go into a top lane with him. But we at least have that double global shutdown that led to their success against the Playing Ducks.
So Greymane and Sonya, the last time this was picked up, the 2nd ban was Abathur. So I wonder if there's something that is floating around for Experts. So think about that as being an option for Experts. Dignitas on the left. I think you gotta grab the Dahaka here. Why not? You've been so powerful with it. They've played Dahaka into Sonya too and been successful. And you can't blame Zelia for his incredible play on that character.
Yeah, I mean, Zelia definitely has the perfect burrows, and he usually is so dangerous just moving in, getting those drags. The thing is, though, if they put him on the Haka at the top lane, he doesn't really have the opportunity to use that global as much because he has no one to take over the experience up at the top lane. So that can be a problem on the map if you want to play that style. Arthur's, first of all, great for establishing presence in the 4-man. We don't have a solo laner yet. Another one that we could see is still Ragnaros. He is also very powerful against the waves. Sylvanas with a pushing power. So we have on the one side Ragnaros, which is very good at defending. Sylvanas usually more on the attacking side where she can get some value. And yeah, this is an aggressive start for Dignitas in the draft.
Yeah, and it's weird because if you're expert now, you have Sonya. You don't usually want to put Sonya in the 4-man rotation, so Ragnaros becomes odd to actually pick up. Ragnaros is actually a good counter to Sylvanas in a degree when you get the Molten Core pickup. So this is actually kind of a weird spot for expert to be in. That's why Sonya doesn't get picked up so early in the first and second slot. So this is actually Dignitas picking the Sylvanas and saying, okay, we dare you to pick something that can actually defend this.
Yeah, and Sylvanas is, of course, one of these big enablers if you win the objective. And you can always, in a long and drawn-out poke battle, Sylvanas actually gains more value because often the burst damage is oftentimes not really there to the extent. There's actually a ban on Ragnaros even. But Sylvanas with that poke on the arrow can really help in long and drawn-out fights in the 4-man. And once that you take the objective, she, of course, gains incredible value. Dignitas, on the other hand, have to really think about, for example, the Zarya that you pointed out a bit earlier. There's also thoughts on Medivh that Team Expert plays a lot. They still don't have... They can put Sonya to the top lane. But yeah, their front line is also still missing, so you can think about banning out another tank. You have seen Wave Clear. Johanna has seen a priority on the map. You could even see a ban on her, depending on how deep you want to go with it. There's a few options for them.
Yeah, I even think Malfurion's even a worthy ban here. It slows down the Sylvanas push in. You can actually drop a root, which makes it harder for tanks to get in that front line to make Sylvanas be empowered. So there are options here for Dignitas. It's all about what they don't want to deal with for their pushing. Overall... There's also the Probius life, that wave clear that is still floating around. Granted, with Sonya being picked up, I think we're going to have her be in the top lane, and Probius is not even an option at this point.
It seems like a bit of a more normal draft for Expert that we had on the last map.
Why do they do that? Why do they go through days where, like, let's go full Monkey Lord, and today we're going to play pure normal? Why do they go through those, like, changes?
Like what?
Monkey Lord, I don't know where that came from. I've been watching too many EU streams. They call everyone monkeys, but...
I know the Hero League monkeys, but I didn't know that we have a Monkey Lord here.
There's a Monkey Lord. Expert, they run it. Why do they go through that? I actually want to ask them next time that we have an interview with them, like, what days are they like, yeah, let's play normal, and other days are like, yeah, let's just do whatever.
Well, that should be a team name for a team that consists of just Hero League players from Europe, the Monkey Lords.
I mean, I'll be
I
on
like
team.
it. I like it.
I'll coach them. So third and fourth pickup, you have your Greymane, you have your Sonya. You probably want a second take and engage and take at some point, and then of course you're going to have to get their healer. But they've already gone through all the ban phases, so they can probably hold off on their healer until fifth pick.
Yeah.
You okay with it?
I like it. It's good. It's good. I really like it. So the Gul'dan being banned out. Dude, it's awesome. It's perfect. We've just like talked the other day about like how most of the teams in Europe were actually like called sandwich monkeys with so many monkey teams. Now here comes the Monkey Lord. But there's the Medivh. We pointed out a bit earlier that they actually like to play him and he gets mobility on the map. It's a 2-lane map. It's small, but because of how the map is designed, you need quite a lot of time to move between the lanes. The Medivh gives you some added mobility and he can really shine here. Also enables, of course, both Sonya and Greymane, so that helps out. But let's see what the last two picks are for Team Dignitas. They have the pressure. They need still a little bit of additional damage, especially... yeah, they could put another mage in here, but they need really someone who can bring a punch.
KT is floating around as an option. KT, however, does have problems dealing with Medivh. One, Medivh can actually 1v1 him pretty well if he can dodge that gravity lapse. And two, if you can get a portal onto a KT, most of the time he's going to have a difficult time. It puts a lot of stress on your healer to actually handle that situation. So we'll have to see what that is going to be the pickup for. And we still need a top laner. There's the Haka. And now,
they need
what
a
if Mane?
lot of damage now.
Yeah.
I mean, we have like a couple of things that they can put into play right now. We can see either a big mage, or even a Vala could make sense here. Suljin, again, he lacks the wave clear, but we have that already covered with the Sylvanas and the Dehaka. So they go for that once more. Lucio with the movement speed. So yeah, they put Mene on Suljin again, and this time, let's find out how Expert is going to react to it. The Medivh is definitely going to help. And Greymane is going to try and probably snipe the Sylvanas first if he gets that chance. If they, of course, can drop the Suljin, it would be great.
You need a
but
second
they
tank.
need the silence for that first.
You need a second tank, and you need a mobile tank in order to be useful against Suljin. Because Suljin, actually, if he gets his Q on them and he doesn't get locked down, he shreds through tanks. Like, front lines are frightened of him. Johanna could be the pickup here. It gives you that wave clear.
Yeah, Johanna, I mean, do you think about the stitches in this case? I don't really think so. I mean, poking from outside and trying to get a hook, hoping for Sonya to win the lane, or Medivh moving over to help her out a little bit so that you don't lose 2 of the beacons. That could be one way how to approach it. But the wave clear of Sonya is definitely a bit stronger, so that would help you in that department.
Is Diablo too weird? You get the hard engage? It's going to be Varian. Okay, so Varian gives you the engage, you get the parry build. So actually, I do like Varian a lot. You get the taunt, and you can get the parry build, and you force him to auto-attack you, and then you just get heroic strikes going like crazy.
I actually think against Suljin it's great. You give up on a bit of wave clear on the other hand. So that's the only worry that I have it. But against Suljin, I agree. Against Suljin, I like him a lot. So you can, with a full parry build, you can do a whole lot against him. The wave clear is a bit of an issue to me right now.
Yeah, that's why Johanna was the first go-to for me. You get that wave clear, but now we have Varian in the mix. And if there is a lockdown and you get the kill, which is great against Lucio, remember, we're always talking about it, that will always be the crutch of Lucio. He's a great sustained healer. He has a speed and mobility, but if you can get locked down, you will get kills. Varian is great in that regard. But if they never get the fights they want, like you're mentioning, things are going to fall south really quickly for Expert.
But then again, Varian is really one of those linchpin heroes that if you start with a good battle and you have a good engagement, he can really carry your heart there. And he's also like getting rid of one of the big problems that they had in the last game, and that is that Suljin. So he can act as a bit of a counter force towards that. So there's definitely a lot of arguments to be made for Varian having a great impact in this draft now.
So we'll keep an eye on the Medivh. The Medivh should have proper rotation. Sonya in the top lane against Ahaka. She did well. We talked about that matchup. Let's go ahead. Let's get ready. Game number 3. We are tied 1-1 between Dignitas and Expert.
And we're going to jump into our next game. It's, of course, BRAXIS Holdout, looking once again to Dignitas and Expert to show us their skills. And over to the left side of the map for the 3rd time in a row, it is, of course, Dignitas. Zelia on the Haka. Bakery on Lucio. Mena jumping on the Sylvanas here and giving Suljin over to Snitch, with JPL taking the front line with his Arthur's play.
And on the right, Expert here. Curson will be playing Malfurion once again. Bad Benny on the Varian. Almost called him Zul'jin there for a second. ADRD on Medivh. Blade on Sonya. And last but not least, Nick on Greymane.
And this is really one of those setups where if you get a good taunt off after level 10, you can make a lot happen. The one thing that really worries me is that Sylvanas on the other side. We've seen already how it can backfire if you play with the Sylvanas, if you do not have enough damage to win the team fights, and that when you fall behind, she has a very rough time to establish the dominance in the team fight. But this pushing presence that we currently see for Dignitas is something that can really carry a lead for them. And they're even 5-manning the top lane because they're of course well aware that at any point they can just simply move the Haka down to the bottom of the map for the zone.
Okay, so our rotations have rotated here. We got 4 on the top. Dealing should be heading out to the Brush Stalker to deal with that Sonya. He does head down. As we already have Blade dealing with it. So we have our 4 on the top, the 1 on the bottom. A big switch up from Expert, but Dignitas does respond well.
And the name of the game revealed by the level 1 talent on Sylvanas, going straight for the Mercenary Queen here too. So they really want to push this hard. They want to make sure that they establish a strong presence on the lane, that with Sylvanas they are able to push their advantage very heavily, and this is something that we definitely have to watch out for here. For Expert, their big power spike is going to come into play once they hit level 10, because then they can utilize Varian to the extent they want and need, and really aim for kills during that fight. Counteracted Suljin a little bit with a parry build that is already being worked at by Benny.
That Mercenary Queen makes a lot of sense too, because we talked about the lack of wave clear because you pick up Varian. Now that gets even more compounded here, just because of that big push happening for Sylvanas. So if she's always in a lane near Hellbats or such, they will be pretty effective.
And that is something that they have to do right now. They are not really that... They're not putting all their eggs in one basket like we saw a bit earlier when we had Playing Ducks go up against the Liquid on 2 and Spider Queen. They had a very clear idea of what they wanted to do here, but with Dignitas, they of course have a priority, but that's not the only way how they can take the game there. But yeah, for now, it's just even exchanges on the lanes mostly. ADRD is, of course, going to try to enable his team with like deep portals into the back line and good shields to allow, especially, of course, Sonya later on to do a whole lot of work and keep Bad Benny safe. But that is already starting to work out against them. That's the end of Varian, and not really the start that Team Expert was looking for.
Yeah, portal too late there. We're going to have the dead Varian 6 seconds going back, and Dignitas will take this advantage and run to the top lane and start pushing it in. This is where Sylvanas gets her advantage. We didn't see it in the first game, simply because Expert played so well, but Dignitas gets 2 turrets off of 1 kill.
Sonya, on the other hand, at least is able to hold the beacon down to the bottom of the map, so at least that progress bar is not ticking away against them. So that helps quite a bit. Celia going up against Blade. Of course, he's going to watch out for that Tong, for that potential drag the entire time. But up here to the top, you're probably going to see a play for the beacon pretty soon again, now that we have Varian back to business.
Yeah, watch him Medivh here. He'll be the one to initiate that with that portal, have Bed Benny start moving in. The parries are coming off, so we're going to keep an eye on Snitch. He's to make sure that he doesn't land those auto attacks on the parries when they do pop up. Gravian has snuck to the side here to deal with the mercenary camps. Will clear it out, and that will push in the bottom lane. So I'm curious if we're going to see Sylvanas head down there to help clear that out.
And this is really important that Greymane is taking these camps. It's also one of the things that led to the death of Bad Benny, because Greymane was taking a camp, and in the meantime we had that fight starting up, and that gave Dignitas an edge on the top lane. But now that we have Greymane taking the camp, he's moving back to the top, and he will join this fight very soon. And at the bot lane, this is a really interesting dynamic, because all of a sudden Dehaka is forced to take the beacon, and the wave is pushing in, so this is really annoying for them.
Yeah, Dignitas is coming over here to grab these mercenaries, so they can use the mercenary queen and push in that top lane, and they were able to grab it. Expert did have a slight invade, didn't break out for them. Dehaka actually started rotating in because he wanted to make sure that if a team fight did break out, they could help out against Expert, and now they'll rotate down and deal with those mercenaries. So Sylvanas is here as well as Dehaka to clear it up and hopefully get the beacon.
And we have 24 points already on the beacon progress for Expert, because thanks to that play with that camp in the bot lane, we saw them take both of the beacons. Now they're making a play for the top again, but JPL is faced with Varian coming through the portal. Both of the teams on level 6, but Dignitas with an earlier level 7 talent that would help them to maybe claim the beacon back.
Watching Snitch here. He's poking in on that Zul'jin pretty well, keeping it up as the bottom left Hellbats are being grabbed to push in. And we're going to keep Sylvanas on there, looks like. They realize that Sonya isn't making any aggressive plays to rotate out of her lane, so they grab those Hellbats. They'll keep Sonya down there. Here comes Sylvanas to come help it fight and grab that beacon. Zelia gets a drag and pulls him away, but Expert has coordinated a big rotation down on the bottom, and they'll be able to take the southern beacon.
Yeah, but the problem still remains that the top lane is now heavily pushed, and ADRD is barely getting out of this one. But the problem still is that Mena is a... Oh, nice kill against Lucio. Dig was a bit too deep in with Bakery here, and that rotation hit hard. The beacon, on the other hand, they still need to grab that if they want to capitalize on it. 7 on both sides. That was still a close call.
Yeah, Bakery over 7 there, hoping to try and get the kill on the Medivh and maybe boop him from going into the portal, but sadly it did not hit, and that will be a death for Bakery. And Dignitas forced to play a little bit more passive here. They don't have a healer. They have to wait it out, especially with Varian have the possibility to engage.
Yeah, JPL locked down. That's the capitalization that we actually need. Nice, well done here. The root on the ground. We have Greymane jumping on the target as Varian locks it down with Malfurion, and that could be the first objective in favor of Team Expert. 100% 2-4 in terms of Zerg wave strength, and they even get an additional wave with it. Well played by them thus far. Let's see if they can carry the momentum here. They're playing a strong early game, and Varian isn't even on level 10 yet, where we are going to see his strength coming into play against especially Snitch.
Kirsten's coming over here. Can he get a root on Snitch? Snitch is all by himself. The roof does connect. Here comes Nick. ADR here is 2. Big pickup from Expert. And Dignitas is staggering deaths.
Yeah, Dignitas is having quite some trouble here. That wave is going to give them a huge amount of trouble, especially with Mena now being, of course, a priority target. ADRD can put these portals into the backline, and he probably will pretty soon. They have to give out the fort. So that is a strong showing for Expert with that first objective. Well done. They are dominating these fights right now, and it shows.
Getting it forward, they can move onto a keep wall here. They're looking to make a big rotation, maybe to the top lane. Sitting on the side, waiting for JPL to maybe overextend and move in for those Guardians to clear them out. And Expert is sharking to the top lane. They're wanting to get some pressure on those turrets and get 10.
This is the moment when you're trying to capitalize on the 10. Yes, as you just said, we have the heroic abilities coming now online, so they are going heavily aggressive for those particular walls now. The level 10 is in, and this is when they're going to try and look for these kills. Varian with the taunt, also the leyline seal, the silence on Malfurion. They're already attempting to make it happen at the bottom of the map, but JPL with a very good Howling Blast stops them as they are trying to engage. But at least for now, Expert is in a position where they can make plays for the camps, and they even make a play for boss.
Lane moving in on it, and you can do this. 9.5 experience for Dignitas, not even close to level 10, and they don't really have any tools to actually engage a boss rush, so they just have to give it up, even if they did know that Expert was sitting there. How about the pushing in the bottom currently, and we also have pressure constantly happening from Expert. They should move in with this boss too and try to grab more before the beacons show up.
They are moving to the top, trying to get another kill here. Lockdown maybe against Zelia. No, not so far. Well done by Zelia. Really well done. Dodging the route and making sure that he is able to get out of here. So still, Expert with a very nice showing. They translate their kills into advantages around the objective and then push with it, get the early level 10. That allows them then to aggressively take camps and also the boss. So they are really running the momentum and taking one advantage after another. Dignitas makes a smart play by simply giving this up. They have to. Fighting here would be a big mistake. But now, again, another hero isolated, and that, you can't allow to do that. Not against the Varian with Home.
Expert doing such a better job of just getting those engages. Granted, that one's a bit of an easier one to get the engage into the taunt there with the variant, but they get it done. JPL in trouble and not here for 10 seconds, and at the same time, beacons will be activating. And with Expert having the map completely open, Medivh becomes much scarier for Dignitas. They have to group up and push together, and that might be hard for Dahaka to actually get Soak on the other side of the map.
And that boss is still at nearly full health. I mean, they just go through that wall at the keep and press that even harder. If they can get another kill thanks to a good taunt on Varian, we haven't even seen a ley line steal yet. That would be fantastic. Here comes the engagement. JPL is actually going in. Already silenced. The Wailing Arrow has hit as we see him once more. Zelia going deep.
Zelia actually hit an isolation there on Sonya. He's going to be popping Lucio, trying to stay alive for now, getting low on health. Nick turns around. Artis gets focused down. Snitch in trouble. He does have the Taz Dingo. Is he going to pop it? He does pop it. He's hoping to get away. Portal comes out. Can he get away from the fight? Nope. Malfurion comes in with the Moonburn, and now the Keep is dead.
The Keep is gone. 9 minutes in. And also the beacons are online, so they can just move back and take them. Level 13, the talent lead. 6 against 1 in kills. Expert is looking fantastic here. They're riding the momentum wave, and they're just rolling over Dignitas.
Yep, they're grabbing the beacons to get some expenditure here. We're going to have all 5 members spawning now for Dignitas, so they need to make a play soon. And just like the 2 minutes ago we just saw them go for an engage, they had to make that play. Now they're in another spot where they have to make another play. And Expert is prepared for it. They have Sonya in the top right with Hellbat, save minions looking out. They have consistently their Medivh scouting out the opposing team so they can make the proper rotations. Dahaka is going to be the one they rotate on the bottom left.
Dahaka is down at the bottom of the map, taken apart here while we're having the posturing up to the top. So once more that Varian just getting value on the lockdown with Kirsten afterwards, using his roots. They eliminate the wall, and with the wall taken out, we are going to see massive, massive damage against Dignitas' stronghold. This is not looking pretty for the team in blue.
No, it is not. Big, big push coming in the top lane. And Expert has a couple of options here. They can either go in for the all-in push on the top lane and start putting damage on the core. If they get a taunt from Varian, they can win the game. Or they can run to the bottom and get a key picked out. They're deciding to go ahead and move in the top left here. Sonya and Bad Benny will be the engagers of the team. Zelia's looking for Grammy, and he does get poked down to half health, but with some solid jukes, he gets away.
They go for the core up at the top. They want to end the game. They have still the talent lead. They're going for it. Just look at this. It's Dignitas going straight in, trying to get an early kill. Isolation on Malfurion. He moves back. They get the kill against Medivh. Dignitas with the attempt to defend their core, and so far, it's looking good.
Yes, they have. We're going to have Zul'jin living. He went down to 1 health. He popped out Dingo. Blade went for the chase. This is the core taking damage. Bad Benny is on the left side. Greymane's wanting to get on the core, but solid defense so far from Dig.
Dignitas is doing well, but they need to do a bit more than that. But Benny's low. That's a good start. But that core is dropping fast. They need to get some kills in here. They get the drag. Back Benny is down. The core, on the other hand, is down to 20%. This is not looking good. Not at all for Dignitas, as Expert takes the game and clenches out a 2-1 lead in the best of 5 series.
And the drag finally coming out from Dahaka allowed for Nick to jump forward and bring up the Greymane and swipe down that core. Expert up 2-1, as you just mentioned.
Dragonshire was the second map. That's where Expert faltered, and then they said the answer here is aggression. Johanna, no, we go for the Varian. Screw the wave clear. We're going to take the fight to Dignitas. We're going to dominate. We're going to take these kills and then translate that into leads. We take the camps on the map. We take the objective. We take the boss, and they just ran over them.
That they did. The Sylvanas just not quite working out in the fights they would like to. Granted, there was a lot of staggered deaths that were happening from Dignitas. They just couldn't get anything going for them. Every time they wanted to group up, it was always a 5v4 because of the Medivh jumping in, the taunt being available.
The staggered death's a really good point that you put up now. That always put Dignitas a bit behind, and they were just never able to really close that gap in experience. And once that we saw Expert getting that lead, they really made sure that they maintained it. So exceptionally well done by them. A lot of momentum riding on this. And once again, Sylvanas not getting the value because the Sylvanas team is not able to get that lead that they need.
Well, let's get ready for game number 4. Can Expert close it against Dignitas? We'll find out.
The most important thing I've learned in all my journeys is balance. Work and play. Good and bad. Right and wrong. Honor. Tradition. A good brew. And most especially, family. These are the things that bring me balance. These are the things I fight for.
Life is an adventure. I mean, have you seen this Nexus place? There's limitless worlds to explore. Constantly new things to see. Ew! Sure, there's danger too. What's an adventure without a little action? Oh, I can help with that. I am a Storm Scout after all. And for Storm Scouts, life is an adventure.